Hello and welcome to Center Ice Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, better known as Crease Collector. So just kicking things off for tonight, we wanted to start with some exciting news in the NHL, as NHL Seattle finally released its team branding after a very long wait, and that announcement included the team name, logos, and jersey designs. So just going over a little bit of the logistics of it all, they announced on Wednesday, I believe Wednesday night, that being July 22nd, that they were going to be making a special announcement on Thursday, July 23rd, which obviously caused a lot of people to assume that that would have to do with, at the very least, announcing the team name. And obviously, as we saw on July 23rd, they did just that, as well as releasing the logos and jersey designs. And of course, as I'm sure many of you know by now, the team will be called the Seattle Kraken, which generally speaking was pretty much expected, especially over the last few months. There was a lot of just talk about that would probably be the name, just based on a lot of research done by reporters and also just some results of fan polls and surveys and things. It kind of seemed like that was going to be the name, and that's what it ended up being. As far as the team's color palette, it features two shades of aqua as well as a deep navy. And that navy is actually the exact same color used on the Vancouver Canucks Orca logo. So on their jersey crest, that really dark navy on the Orca itself, it's that exact same shade of navy. And then also red to complement the kind of aqua and navy theme and feel of the brand. And then as far as the primary logo, it's a stylized S logo featuring a tentacle going up through the middle of the S and then highlighted by a red eye toward the top of the S. And of course, the S-shaped logo pays tribute to the Seattle Metropolitans. And I know that was something really important to the ownership group. They really wanted to honor the hockey history in that city. And I think that by doing the primary logo in a way that was very evidently an S, I think really accomplished that mission. And then as far as an alternate logo, they have a really clever anchor logo that actually incorporates the Seattle Space Needle as the top of the anchor. So I think that was just a really nice touch to, again, pay tribute to their home city. And as far as the uniforms, obviously they just released home and away jerseys for now. I'm sure that there will be an alternate jersey at some point down the road, but that's probably 4 or 5 years out, I would assume. But as far as the home jersey, it's that midnight navy color and features aqua and red stripes and aqua lettering and numbers. And one thing to note specifically about that home blue jersey is that there's absolutely no white at all anywhere to be found on the jersey. So as card collectors, we should be excited about that because there will not be any white jersey pieces or patch pieces or anything if it's coming from those blue home jerseys. For the away jerseys, obviously they're white and they feature navy, aqua, and red stripes, as well as navy cuffs with that same navy color serving for both the lettering and numbers. And both of the jerseys obviously feature the S logo as the crest and the anchor logo as the shoulder patch. So that's pretty much it as far as the logistics of the branding, but we also, of course, wanted to turn this into a bit of a card discussion as well. So, Aaron, let me just ask you first your thoughts on the brand, and then we can just get into talking about the Kraken in terms of the hobby.
Definitely. First off, I love the team name, and I love the colors. I love the logos and everything like that. I really like specifically how Seattle made this, the ownership made this really a fan's decision when it came down to the branding and things like that. Like I remember seeing polls and just general discussion back when they made their initial announcement that they would be an NHL franchise. And just so seeing them take the fans' opinions from start to finish here was really something special. Because, yeah, we've heard that Kraken name thrown around since day one. So, I mean, to see them follow through with that and really take the fans' opinions and name suggestions into consideration from start to finish with polls from social media, some smaller focus groups as well. Just seeing them take that the whole way through was really cool, and it really makes them, as far as a franchise go, like really respect and really value the opinions of the people who are supporting the franchise, as they should, I think. So I think that was a really cool decision. And as far as the other stuff, like the logos and the colors and things like that, I really felt like they hit the nail on the head and really definitely separated themselves from the pack when it came to just preserving the history like of that initial Seattle hockey franchise, but also bringing it like a little bit new school as well with the fancy colors and the logos as well. So I think this will go very well as far as their branding goes moving forward as officially a new franchise in the NHL. So I think that was very well done. I'm not sure about you, Eric, but for me, as soon as I saw the jerseys, as soon as I saw that logo, I immediately thought of patch cards. Like that was the first, I'm not sure if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but that was my first reaction as soon as I saw the jerseys. Like, man, those are going to look good in some cards right there, especially say, a limited logos from the cup or maybe, a premier mega patch or just any sort of patch card at all, or even the SB game used Supreme materials. Even if you have like a piece of jersey or a piece of glove, I've seen some glove mock-ups for say Bauer, for example, that really showcase those bold, exciting colors. So even these memorabilia pieces when it comes to the jerseys or the gloves are going to look really, really good on some cards. Like I understand a lot of people might not like the colors, and then that's fair. That's your opinion for sure. It is kind of out there for sure. It's not as tame as Vegas was, and definitely really brings like a new pop to the NHL. But definitely for me, those patch cards are going to look awesome. And even I saw earlier, Upper Deck just tweeted out a picture of the home and away jerseys, and they just simply put patch cards. So they know how exciting these are going to be for collectors. And honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up any, but we'll see what happens with that. But like another interesting point that I just want to make as far as the new franchise goes, we saw this with Vegas, more in part that because they had that huge explosive success. I'm not sure if we're going to see the same with Seattle just because of how the draft is going to be tweaked a little bit. But who knows? Like, hey, best of luck to them. But like with Vegas, the explosions of new hockey fans and new hobby interests are going to be really interesting to watch to see what those first few sets of Seattle cards go for, especially the higher end stuff. Again, we saw that with Vegas. And again, their huge success helped them a lot. But there has been a lot of hardcore Las Vegas collectors out there. And so it'll definitely bring a new market into the hobby as far as new collectors go. And as far as player collections and things like that, it's going to be very exciting if your player gets drafted to this new Seattle team or that first rookie crop to kind of come in there. If you're a rookie card collector, is going to be really, really nice to see. Definitely add some nice variety to your collection to have that 30-second NHL franchise, part of your collection. So they're going to be really cool to see just from a design perspective and how these cards are going to look with these patch cards, but also just from a overall hobby perspective, it's going to be really, really interesting to see. So those are my initial thoughts on it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in terms of my feelings about the branding. I think they hit it out of the park. Like you, I really like that they paid attention to what the fans wanted.
Yeah, I think it was really important. It was good to see them take the fans into consideration from start to finish. That was really cool. For a franchise to really do that, it was a great step forward for them.
Yeah, I would really recommend checking out. There was an article written by the Seattle Times on Thursday. I think it was Release the Kraken and then a few other words after that. It had a lot of really good insight into the backstory of the team name, particularly, and also with the logo and things like that, just explaining a lot of the decision making with that. So I'd really recommend that you guys read it. It's a kind of lengthy read, but it's well worth it. There's just a lot of really good information in there. So I would really recommend you do that. Yeah, like you mentioned, I really like how they really focused on honoring the city as well as the hockey history there. Like I mentioned earlier, I think a lot of people were a little bit underwhelmed with the logos just because with a team name like that, you could have gone in so many different directions and you could have had something, a lot more unique and maybe bolder, than what they did. But I think given that they were really trying to honor both the city and the hockey history within the city, I think they really did a great job of accomplishing that while also having it feel new and unique, like you mentioned. So I definitely think that they did a really good job with it pretty much across the board. I mean, there's very little about the logos or the jerseys that I would change, and we'll see. I mean, but I think that there's definitely potential for this brand exactly as it is to last for quite a while without needing any changes. And then just to touch on one thing, you mentioned the expansion draft. As it stands right now, and I would assume that it'll stay this way, I believe all of the rules are going to be exactly the same as the Vegas expansion draft. But I think that it's probably not going to be immediate success for the Kraken just because I don't foresee other teams kind of giving away assets like they did to Vegas in that expansion draft.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to see teams just say, hey, you know what, we're going to lose this guy and that's that, rather than, you look at Florida, ended up giving up Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault.
Exactly. So it's going to be a different approach from teams, which I think it's going to be a little bit different results as far as the Vegas expansion versus the Seattle expansion. But we could be wrong. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to see that same level of success again. I mean, I think that captivated not only the hockey world, but really the sports world, just to see
100%.
a first year franchise do that, and almost finish it off with a Stanley Cup championship in their inaugural season would have just been the craziest story ever. But yeah, I mean, I think realistically, people need to understand that shouldn't be expected of the team. I mean, the odds of that happening just aren't good, especially since teams have very recently had that experience of what this exact expansion draft format is like, and they know that they're probably just going to be better off just losing a player rather than trying to, throw in prospects and draft picks or other players just to avoid losing one certain guy. I think a lot of teams will realize it's just better to lose one asset than lose two or three. So we'll see. But yeah, I would expect that it'll be a little less successful of a first season for Seattle, but you never know. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are going to have some really difficult choices with that. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens. And like you said, as far as the hobby implications for that, I definitely think that there will be a pretty high level of collectability for Kraken cards in the first year. I mean, like we saw with Vegas, I mean, even just base cards, like immediately, like Upper Deck Series 1 base cards, even though they just had essentially like photo shoot photos of a player wearing a Golden Knights jersey, still even the base cards were really collectible. So, and that's not even getting into the inserts and parallels and autographs and memorabilia cards. Like you mentioned, I think the memorabilia cards will definitely be really sought after, and definitely will provide some really nice patch pieces for sure. I think definitely the eye patches will be pretty desirable pieces, as well as some of those anchor shoulder patch pieces as well. And then, yeah, kind of just one other thing going back to the branding. I like that it really is a unique feel just because of those shades of aqua. Yeah, like the San Jose Sharks use teal and stuff, but it's still a much different feel, and it's really fresh and just unique within the hockey landscape and obviously in the NHL. So I think it's good to just have something very different that hasn't really been done before.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And as far as your, just to back up with your logo discussion a little while back, I think there's going to be like, if people are out there right now thinking that logo is kind of simple, I think for them, it was definitely a less is more approach, which is fine. As far as their logo and things like that moving forward, I could definitely see with their alternate jerseys in the future, them really getting creative with the logo and going really above and beyond with that. And then continuing on seeing some very special patch cards as well with those, hopefully those very cool alternate jerseys in the future. We saw that even with the Jets, when they came back, they had their, their typical 1 and 2, but then they also in the future did have those sweet alternate jerseys as well. So I think we'll see the same thing with Seattle. If people don't like the looks of the patch cards now, And again, if they feel like their logos are too simple, look out for those alternate jerseys eventually. As far as the memorabilia is concerned, I definitely think they have some tricks up their sleeves for that, waiting in the wings. I'm sure they've had their original choices for their shoulder patches and their crest logos, but don't be surprised if they have a couple still in the boardroom there for their alternate jerseys eventually. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them sooner rather than later. I'm not sure if we'll see them in the inaugural season, but even in year 2, even year 3, I think we can see some sweet alternates as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And yeah, it's going to be very exciting for the hobby, I think, to get to get Vegas, and then so soon after that to get Seattle as a new expansion team, and the waves of collectors that hopefully it brings. And yeah, it's going to be a great thing for the hobby for sure. So we're just going to transition to another very cool thing. We didn't really plan on this week, but I just had a very, very special mail day just to share with you all. We don't usually share our personal pickups with you all, like from day to day or whatever, or from week to week with the podcast. But this week, I think it's kind of the exception. Just with myself, I received quite the random act of kindness, and I just wanted to share that story with you all. For those who follow me on Twitter, or if you follow me on any of the hobby forums, you definitely know what I'm about to talk about. For those who don't, get ready, because it's kind of the mail day of a lifetime for me, and I definitely feel like you definitely get a kick out of this one. So just to back up a couple months ago in May, I received a message from a forum user on the Blowout Cards forum. And this member, he's been around on the forums since 2013. However, he only has about 20 or so posts, so he's not that active in that sense. And so I'm not familiar with the user, but I've seen him on there from time to time. But anyway, so he just I helped him out with something, and he just sent me a card I needed for my collection way back in the day, about a year ago. And then a couple months ago in May, once again, he said, hey, I'm going to send you a couple cards just out of nowhere, out of the blue. And I said, hey, that's awesome. Thank you very much. And I ended up with about 6 cards or so. And the majority of them were duplicates, but there was one card in there, the past, present, and future 12-13 in the game card, and it was a in the game superlative vault version of this card. And I had just recently found out from my Jhonas Enroth collection, for those who don't know, that this card had been included in the superlative vault release. I'm not going to go into what a vault release is. It is different from a regular boxed product from in the game, but I'll say that for another video. But these cards do have a stamp, which to differentiate themselves from the original pack inserted card. But anyway, so I collect the stamp versions for those types of cards. And so I didn't really know that version of the card had a stamped version. So for me, I like anything I can get. So it was definitely a great surprise to find out they existed. And for someone to send me that free of charge was a very, very exciting addition for me. For some collectors, it might not seem like that big of a deal, but for me, it was definitely a very cool addition, and I definitely want to thank him for that. His name is Blake. So that was back in May, and did not ask for anything in return, didn't ask for a shout out or anything like that, and just a very nice, humble guy. And then so a couple weeks ago, here in July, he sends me another message on Blowout and says, hey, I sent you another package. I think you'll love it. And that's it. And that, I just assumed, okay, it's a couple more cards I needed, like maybe a couple more duplicates. Awesome. The more the merrier. I'll definitely take some more, Jhonas Enroth cards if any of you guys have it. I'm not going to say no to free cards. And then so I just waited patiently. I just assumed I'd get a bubble mailer or maybe a little box in the mail, and that'd be that. But this past Tuesday, I got a knock on my door, and it was the UPS guy, and he had delivered a massive box. For those who don't know, I do run a blog. I do run a hockey card themed blog. You can check that out at creasecollector.weebly.com. I did post a blog post about this very same random act of kindness. So if you want to see pictures and all of that, and see how big this box truly was, definitely check that out on my website. So I received this massive box from this guy. Did not know what to expect at all. Eric, I was on the phone with you while I got this thing. I was just blown away by it. Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. Just seeing my name on the box was just a big surprise. I thought it was something for my brother. I do live with my brother, and he's a drummer, so he's always ordering in a cymbal or a new snare drummer too. So I thought it was for him, but as soon as I saw the name and who it was from this Blake guy. I knew exactly. Well, I didn't know what it was, but I just like I know exactly that this was something special, and it's going to be something very cool. So I'm working from home right now, as a lot of other people are during the whole COVID-19 situation. So I put the box away, and I said, "Man, like this is awesome! I can't wait to see what's inside." I went back to work for the rest of the day, and probably didn't think about work for the rest of the day because I was just so focused on that box. You know, what's inside that box? I can't even begin to think what could it possibly be. So, a couple minutes after finishing work, I went to open this box, and I made sure to unpack it very slowly. And turns out, so I want to just touch on that. This was, again, a total random act of kindness. He did this for free. He did not make me pay shipping. He didn't make me pay any fees on it whatsoever. He simply sent this box to me as just, I guess, because he's the nicest guy in the world. Apparently, he just did this just because, just to be nice. And so I opened up this box, and there wasn't just one thing in here. There was two items from my collection. One was in plastic wrap, and one was in another smaller box. So I decided to open up the plastic wrap first, and inside was a Jhonas Enroth game used blocker from 2013. You know, with puck marks and everything, the thing was pretty beat up. You know, and rightfully so. Obviously, especially that year with the Sabres, he definitely received a lot of rubber thrown his way. So that year, yeah, definitely puck marks and all. Definitely has seen its fair share of action, that's for sure. And I was just blown away. Just receiving a game-worn blocker is amazing. And for me to receive that free of charge is just unbelievable. Just simply someone knowing that I collect this guy and have been collecting his stuff for a couple of years now, and just to do that, just out of the goodness of his heart, was just so amazing. And I was just kind of admiring this game use blocker for a bit, and I kind of realized, man, there's box number 2 sitting over there, so like I better get to it. And so I put down the blocker. It was quite awesome, and I put that down, and I decided to go for box number 2. And inside, as soon as I opened up the box, I knew what it was right away. And it was, and for those who do collect game-worn memorabilia, I know there's a lot of hybrid collectors out there who do collect cards and game-worn memorabilia. So for those who do and who are listening, like I definitely know there's a few of you. You definitely know this experience because I pulled out a box from MyGray. And for those who don't know, the MyGray boxes, they're pretty recognizable for those game use collectors. They look very nice. And for those who don't know who MyGray is, they are the leading partner with the NHL as far as their game worn memorabilia goes, and their game issued stuff like that. So they have a partnership with the NHL, and they receive from, I believe, the vast majority of every team, a good chunk of game worn jerseys from them. So what you're getting is authentic, and it's just a very well done, established business for game worn items. They are pricey, but what you're getting is the real deal. So I've dealt with MyGray before. They're definitely top notch as far as the memorabilia goes. So anyway, so I knew exactly right away. I saw the box, I saw the logo, and I knew something special was about to happen. So I had the game worn blocker sitting there, and then I'm staring in front of a big blue MyGray box. And so I slowly opened it up, as most do, to kind of preserve the moment. And inside was another game used item. It wasn't game issued, it was game worn again. A game worn Jhonas Enroth jersey from 2015-16 with the Los Angeles Kings. So once again, an incredible piece to receive for any collector. especially one like myself. I've been collecting Jhonas Enroth cards mainly for about 10 years now. So for me to receive my first game-worn jersey of a goalie that I personally do, have, I guess, looked up to in a sense as far as like his technique on the ice and things like that. I definitely appreciate him as an athlete for many years now. So to receive a game-worn jersey was just unreal, especially from the LA Kings. I just love their jerseys. It was the away jersey, so the clean white and black stripe jersey. Very, very nice with puck marks and jersey repairs and all. So it was a very nice piece as far as game-worn memorabilia is concerned. And then so I was just blown away by this generous, random act of kindness, receiving a game-worn jersey and a game-worn blocker in the same box. So that is just unbelievable. I sent him a message already, but Blake from Blowout Cards, if you're listening, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Those items will definitely have a forever home in my collection, and it's definitely very well appreciated on my end. When I typed up that thank you note, I really didn't know what to say. So just thank you times a million. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, still blown away. Like it took me about a day and a half to muster up the words to post about it and to post about it online, because just hearing about anyone being gifted a game-worn piece of anything is just unreal for free. But just to receive two pieces was just out of this world amazing, and especially such a two heavily worn items, which is great. It wasn't, a barely touched item, or it wasn't one of those game issued ones, which are still cool, but definitely different from game worn. And then I guess after this whole big mail day happened, the research truly begun. And I did find out, I'll start with the jersey. I found out that it was worn, like I said, from the 2015-16 season. It was worn in a handful of games, which also included Enroth's sixth career shutout against the St. Louis Blues that year. And for those who don't know, who haven't been following my collection for the past little while, I do own his game-used stick that he used with the Kings that year from a little later on in the season, where he recorded his seventh and final career NHL shutout. So to have the jersey from the sixth and then the stick from the seventh shutout, again, which turned out to be his final shutout in the NHL for his career, to have kind of shutouts that kind of, not back-to-back, but that are in sequence like that is really cool. For a collector, I think that's very, very cool, and something I can definitely look back on and really admire, which was very, very nice. And as far as the blocker goes, the blocker is kind of in two parts, because obviously it was used with the Sabres in 2013. It was the lockout shortened season in 12-13. So it was used in 2013. And from my knowledge, it was used in, a handful of games as well, including his third career shutout. So to have all these shutout pieces, I think is very cool, especially as a goalie who admires Enroth's technical ability as a goalie. And for him to, again, have a shutout in the NHL, the top league in the world, is for at the time the smallest goalie in the NHL, is very, very cool. It's definitely a very, very cool thing for me personally, and definitely very cool as far as a game-worn piece is concerned. To have anything with a shutout involved or any piece of player significance is always quite cool. And then doing a little bit more digging on the blocker, after the 2013 season ended, the Sabres went nowhere, unfortunately, but Enroth and a couple of other Swedish players from around the NHL joined forces, and they formed the Swedish national team for the IIHF World Championships. For those who are familiar with the yearly tournament, it's a very, very great tournament with the best of the best involved, and a very fun tournament to watch every year. With the World Championships of anything is very, very cool. And so, for those who don't know, Sweden did win gold that year, and they broke the 27-year-old home ice curse at the time. For those who don't know about the supposed curse, any home ice team that competed at the World Championships of hockey since 1986 have lost. The last team to win on home soil was the 1986 Soviet Union team. So no team has won it since then at the time. And so it was definitely a dreaded curse. I think Sweden had being close, as well as Germany, I think, years ago. So, if you were a host nation competing at the World Championships, you were pretty much doomed for 27 years. So definitely a curse, in the sporting world. So Team Sweden broke that curse that year. For Swedish fans watching, I do know there are a lot of Swedish collectors who do follow my collection, and I have spoken to over the years. You know that curse well, and you definitely know when Team Sweden broke it, because it was a great time to be a Swedish hockey fan at that time in 2013. So to have the game-worn blocker for that tournament was very, very special. Unfortunately, it was not used in the gold medal game. That is because in the semifinals against Finland, that blocker was actually damaged. You actually feel the internal blocker board. For those goalies listening, there is a lot of foam and plastic inside the blocker itself. And so that was heavily damaged beyond repair. And so Enroth actually switched out the blocker before the gold medal game. So it wasn't actually the blocker that was used in the final against Switzerland, but it had been used in every single match that got them to that gold medal game. So definitely a very historic piece as far as goalies are concerned, as far as hockey is concerned as well. To have a piece from that World Championship broken curse year is very, very cool. Just for me as a hockey, I wouldn't call myself a hockey historian, but as a hockey fan and someone who does enjoy watching that tournament and remembers when Sweden won that tournament and how big of a deal it was. Even for North American fans and Team Canada fans like myself, they beat Canada in the quarterfinals, which was very upsetting to see, but it was a great game. And yeah, it was definitely very cool to see, especially for a fan of Enroth. He did record 2 shutouts. As you can see, I'm a shutout guy in that tournament, which is very cool. So definitely to trace that with the photo matching and things like that is incredible. So definitely a great piece for my collection. And so to receive both those pieces in the same box again is just unbelievable. And it's something that I'm going to remember for a very long time. So again, I don't normally share my mail days, but this is one for the record books. I'm just kind of wondering if any of you guys out there listening have received any random acts of kindness, big or small, it doesn't matter. It definitely is a very cool feeling and something that is truly unexpected. And this, to receive 2 game-worn pieces from one of my favorite goalies, is definitely very, very cool. And I actually showed these pieces, the jersey and the blocker, with Jhonas Enroth himself. We follow each other on Instagram. And so, we'll message each other here and there. And so I definitely showed him these pieces and say, hey, I have these pieces that you wore from this time period. And he thought that was awesome. He thought that was very cool. And he knows about my card collection as well. He likes photos and things like that. He loves the cards. A couple of members of his family have seen the card collection too. So it's definitely very cool to get that tip of the hat from the player himself who wore these items and competed all these years ago. So definitely very cool. I can't say enough. I feel like I'm rambling on. I guess that's why we're hosting the podcast in the first place. But for those collectors out there who have that fierce passion for collecting a certain player, will definitely, see where I'm coming through on this. And for those game-worn memorabilia collectors out there, you definitely see where I'm coming from on this as well. So I just wanted to share those 2 pickups with you. And yeah, unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, I could not believe when you showed me what was in that box, just how crazy those pieces were. Especially the blocker with that World Championship tournament experience. And it's interesting when you first pulled the blocker out of the package, you were sending me some pictures of it, and you noted that there were some markings on it that is actually somewhat consistent with practice gear. So you actually thought it was just a practice blocker.
Yeah. I saw on the inside, like around the thumb area, there was a little P.A on it. So I'm not sure if it was a practice mitt. I'm not really sure. The thing was really beat up. So I'm sure that Enroth used it after the tournament that summer and used it as an off-season training blocker as well, because the thing was pretty busted up. From first glance, you can't notice it, but the internals are kind of messed up, which can happen with blockers. It happens sometimes. But so I'm sure it was used as like an off-season training blocker or just recycled into a practice mitt that fall, starting up the new season, because he did use that same color scheme going into the 13-14 season that next year. So it definitely had some use besides the 12-13 season and besides the IHF World Championship tournament. It definitely did see some heavy use after that. I'm sure it was just used in the off season as well, which is, it's not uncommon. That stuff does happen. But another thing which kind of tipped me off that it was a game worn blocker upon further inspection, I just want to add this in, is that for those who haven't seen any of Jhonas Enroth's gear before, I know there's a lot of gearheads listening. And so I've seen a couple of his pro stock stuff, which wasn't used by the player, but it was made for the player, and his game worn stuff over the years. And his blocker inside, behind the blocker board, written inside, like almost like on the cuff of the blocker, he writes in Swedish some motivational sayings that he, I guess, looks at during the game to kind of keep him amped up. He does that a couple times on his stick as well. He writes some little messages on my game use stick. I have a couple messages that he writes to himself during the game, which is really, really cool. But on the inside of the cuff, it says, in Swedish, it says, be professional, play for others, 100% focus, and I know I can. So those are the little motivational sayings he gets inscribed, stitched on to every single blocker that he gets. Just seeing his game worn stuff over the years, it's just something that I know would be on his game worn stuff. So seeing that was very, very assuring that it was used in the game before seeing pictures of it. So if you want to see on my blog or follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you'll see that inscription on the inside of the blocker. It's very, very cool. And definitely something that's very unique on a blocker. I've never seen that type of an inscription done. Very, very cool, especially being in Swedish is very nice. Like, I don't speak Swedish, but it's a very cool thing to have. So that, again, before seeing the pictures, made me believe that, yes, this thing must have been game worn because of the inscriptions on the back. So very, very cool.
Yeah, and then also with the jersey, I saw someone comment on Hobby Insider noting that that jersey was also worn in not a milestone for Enroth, but Jerome McGinley scored his 600th career goal playing against Enroth while he was wearing that Kings jersey. So yeah, just another little cool side note with those pieces too.
No, yeah. As soon as someone pointed that out, I went to YouTube immediately and I saw that Jerome McGinley. For those who are at their computers right now, Google it, Jerome McGinley's 600th career goal. Definitely a huge milestone for any player. But it bounced off an LA Kings defenseman's skate, I believe, and behind Jhonas Enroth. So what can you do? It's part of the game, but definitely a very cool milestone that jersey was a part of. Kind of on the wrong end of things, but a very cool piece to have as well. So I think Jerome McGinley collectors, and I know that I say this a lot, but I know there are some rare, very big Jerome McGinley's collectors listening to this right now. That is kind of like a Jerome McGinley memorabilia piece. So I think I'm going to keep it for now. But yeah, no, it's definitely a very, very cool addition to finding out more about this game used jersey. So it was Enroth's 6th career shutout, and it was used kind of in Jerome McGinley's 600th career goal. So very, very cool. All right. So enough of me rambling on about my mail days. For those who aren't aware, we did tweet it out earlier today and earlier during the week, but we have a very, very special addition to the podcast tonight. It isn't a guest, unfortunately. We will have those soon to come, but it is a box of Upper Deck Stature. We did preview the product last episode. For those who didn't see the last episode where we did talk about Stature and sticker autos and things like that, definitely check that out. But for now, we did get a hold of Eric. Was so confident in the product that he did buy a box of UD Stature, the new product from Upper Deck. Just debuted this year. The cards look absolutely stunning. So Eric is going to open up a box, and we will share these pickups. We're not going to, blind lead the blind gate right now. We're going to share these pickups on social media, so you will see what they look like. But on air, we are going to do a live box break. I did see the box. It's fully sealed. and Eric is going to go card by card and break this box for us live on the podcast. So, Eric, best of luck. I hope you hit something pretty big.
Yeah, thanks. Me too. Obviously, something huge would be great, but honestly, I'm just hoping for something solid. I don't need a Gretzky or McDavid autograph. As long as it's just something solid that I can say, hey, that's pretty cool. Like I'm good with that. So that's really what I'm hoping for. Is just something solid, and even if not, I can still just enjoy the fact that these are, like you said, Aaron, just incredibly nice cards. Honestly, I'm just really excited to see them in person. I haven't held one in my hands yet, so I'm just really curious to see how nice they really are in person. Obviously, I've seen photos and scans and videos of the cards, but I'm expecting that they're every bit as nice in person as well. Yeah, so just kind of to recap a little bit of the review from last time, as far as a box break goes, there are 8 cards guaranteed, and there's a potential for a 9th card. It kind of just depends. Some boxes only have the 8, some have 9. And then you're guaranteed 1 autograph card. You could receive 2, but you're only guaranteed the 1. And of note, the autograph patch cards are really just autograph memorabilia cards, because there are other memorabilia pieces like sticks and things like that. But autograph memorabilia cards fall 1 in 8 boxes. So I'm not expecting to get an autograph memorabilia card, but you never know. We'll see. So without further ado, I'm going to crack into it.
To jump in here, Eric, I know you're gunning for a couple cards for your collection. There are some that you would love. But for those listening, are these cards, depending on what you hit, obviously, are these cards available? Like, are you going to make these available? Like, for those listening, if they're interested in the card, are they available?
It's a good question. Honestly, it's just going to depend what they are.
All right, noted.
So, yeah, but I'd be happy to respond to any inquiries at the very least. Yeah, but no guarantees. We'll just see what we have. So
Fair enough.
I've got the wrapping open, and I'm taking the pack out now. And I believe, Aaron, that you can see what I'm doing, right?
Oh, yeah. So,
okay, so here's the pack.
Definitely. All right, that's a really nice looking pack of cards.
Yeah, and they're very thick. I've never opened a pack of cards this thick. I've opened kind of like the 1 pack per box products before, but they've always been
in the box, and
they've always been in the plastic
like
boxes.
That. Yeah.
So I've never actually opened one of these beefy, thick packs before. So even just that is a new and interesting experience. And I'll crack her open right now.
I'm nervous for you right now. I'm nervous. Like, even doing box breaks myself, I don't do many, but I'm nervous when I open it up.
Well, I'll just show you this, Aaron. I know the listeners
Yeah.
see. I don't know if you can see it there, but there is a thick card in there.
There is.
So
all right.
I'm
even more nervous.
Memorabilia card.
Wow. So that, for those listening again, you're not guaranteed an auto memorabilia card.
No, they are 1 in 8 boxes.
All right. So it looks like 1 in 8 boxes. So you hit something there. So
taking the cards out. Oh yeah, they are real nice in person. All right, so the first card here is a base card of Rasmus Dahlin.
Not a bad start at all. Those look gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah, they are really nice in person. The rainbow foil cardstock that they use just looks incredible in person, and the gold foil etching as well is just very nice. It really pops nicely. Photos are nice.
Man, those are nice.
Quality of the cards is off the charts. So that is the first card, is a Rasmus Dahlin base card.
If you hit any Marc-Andre Fleury, just let me know.
I hope so. So the next card, I like that one. I'll take that one. It's a base card, but it's of my Chicago Blackhawks, of Alex DeBrincat.
Yeah, that's not a bad start at all.
Nope.
Not bad at all, especially for you.
Good with that.
Being a Blackhawks fan.
Good with that.
I'm guessing that's PC?
Yeah, I'll hang on to that one for sure. I mentioned this to you, Aaron, but I honestly might take a shot at putting together the base and rookie sets just because
that's right.
They look so nice. So
they
would not
do look nice.
So moving along to the serial numbered rookie card. It is numbered 155 out of 399 of Daniil Yurtakin of the San Jose Sharks.
Nice.
So nothing super crazy there, but definitely a player that has some potential, so keep an eye on that one. Moving along into the parallels now. The first card, ooh, that's real nice in person. It's a Rookie Reliance green parallel, numbered 59 out of 99, of Trevor Moore of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Nice. I'm a Leafs fan. Very cool. Born and raised in Toronto. So
Yep.
that's definitely a card that's very cool for us Leaf fans out there.
Yep,
And for those
absolutely.
listening,
Yep. Yeah, and these are really nice in person.
they are really nice. Oh, well, I
Yeah.
can't speak about it in person.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks,
But
man.
you're welcome. Yeah. I mean, as you guys heard on the last episode, I wasn't sure what to think about the Rookie Reliance cards, but at the very least, the green parallel does look really nice in person, so that's really cool.
I see a lot of set collectors for this product.
Oh baby,
Like just
this next one.
oh, okay.
It's a red parallel, but
Okay. Those look nice though. The reds look
the
amazing.
reds. This is
Oh,
really ironic to have hit this because we talked about this exact card yesterday, Aaron.
which one is it? Remind me. Which one? Let me see.
I'm gonna slow reveal it to you.
Okay.
You can reveal what it is to everybody.
Oh, come on. That's the exact card I was thinking of buying yesterday. Oh, come on. It's the Marc-Andre Fleury red parallel. I'm not sure if it's the base or the esteemed.
Yeah, it's the base, but
The
yeah.
base, yeah. So it's
Yep.
the base out of 75.
Yep.
Man, come on. I was literally on eBay last night looking to buying a red parallel, that exact card, and you hit that card. Man, I'm not sure whether to congratulate you or silently hate you right now. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Like, I know you love Flurry, so I have a feeling it's going to be PC for you, but if it ever becomes available. Anyway, we'll talk after the show.
Yes.
But
Yes.
congratulations on that huge hit. That is a beautiful card. That looks amazing. What's
Yeah.
the number on it? Like out of 75.
It's number 66.
All right.
Yep.
Very cool. Man, come on. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly,
And
even if the auto patch isn't anything special, I'm happy with that.
definitely.
That's a really cool card.
It is
So
a very cool card.
that was the fifth card. So I'm now going to go to the last card because the last card is usually just an insert. And of course, by looking at the back, I can tell what it is. So I'm just going to do that one now.
For sure.
It's an esteemed insert, and these also do look really cool in person. It's just the base version of it, but yeah, it's really hard to pick it up on camera or probably even in scans, but there's a really cool pattern within the foil along the edges that kind of matches the gold foil on the card. But anyway, it's an esteemed insert of Eric Stahl of the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, it's really hard to make out the pattern from the glare here, but yeah.
Very
A little
cool.
bit. I can see a little bit of it, but
Yeah,
very, very cool card for sure.
very cool. So we'll put that one down. All right, and then going back to the sixth card now. Now, I've seen a lot of the times with boxes that do have the autograph patch cards, that's actually kind of just an extra hit. So there might still be a second autograph in those boxes. So I'm hoping that behind the Flurry is an autograph card because that would just be an added bonus. So we'll see what we got. And it is, that's very nice as well. Not a great name, but still a really sweet card. It is a red rookie autograph, numbered 29 out of 45, so pretty limited, of Blake Lizotte of the LA Kings.
Very nice card. That is awesome.
Yeah, it looks really sweet.
Those autograph versions are very nice, especially with the red foil. I can't speak on that enough. They did those reds. Very, very nice. Very, very nice cards.
Yes. So, hey, I mean, essentially even though the auto patch is the quote-unquote free bonus hit of the box, I'll obviously consider this to be the bonus hit of the box. Yeah, sweet card. And then finally with the auto patch, I can tell just by looking at kind of the side that it's one of the portrait variations of the base set. It could be a rookie, could be just a normal player, not sure yet. But yeah, it's just a base one, so it's not one of the parallels. I'm going to reveal it now. It's numbered 4 out of 33, and it is of Julien Gauthier of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Nice. Not bad at all. Those cards are really, really well done.
Yeah, with a nice 3-color patch. Yeah, very nice looking card. Very nice. So yeah, I mean, even though there wasn't necessarily anything huge, there were definitely some solid cards in there. Obviously, can't complain about getting one of those auto patch cards. And like I mentioned during the review, 33 is the highest print run for any auto patch card. So even though this is, essentially a very common one, it's still a very scarce card. Yeah, and then obviously the Lazat Red Auto out of 45, again, another pretty rare card. But honestly, I would have to say that the Flurry is probably my favorite card out of the box.
It is mine as well, Eric. Mine as well. Great hit on that thing, especially we were talking right before you opened the pack. If you pulled any Marco Energy Flurry, to let me know.
Yep,
So that's
you called
awesome.
it. You called it.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. Congrats on your break. Like, I know it took all the willpower in the world to wait for the podcast to open it up, but that was awesome. Any thoughts on your box break?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say that it was good. I think getting that auto patch definitely helps. I think without that, it might have been a little bit underwhelming,
Yeah.
just as far as the hits go. But definitely hitting that helped out quite a bit. Yeah, but honestly, just getting the flurry definitely makes me happy.
Yeah, no, it does. If you decide to keep that thing, it's going to be in a good home. So that's amazing. Really great hit.
Yeah, honestly,
it just goes to show you. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Just so ironic that we had been talking about that exact
It is.
parallel, and I got it.
I know, right? It just goes to show you, honestly, like those favorite cards, even in a box break, it doesn't have to be those crazy limited auto patches like number 2 or something. Like it can be just a simple insert that looks really nice. So yeah, well done Upper Deck on this product. Very, very nice cards. Definitely a really good debut for Upper Deck Stature on this one. So very, very nice. And just for some interactive questions for this podcast episode that we definitely want to hear from you guys about, just your thoughts about the Seattle Kraken and just their branding, like how they went about, announcing the team name itself, and the colors and the logos and all that stuff. What your thoughts are on all that? Like what are your thoughts on the Seattle Kraken? And just, it's fitting that I touch on this, but have you ever sent or received a random act of kindness package? If so, what was in that package? We'd love to know. And just the story behind that. Like, we love listening to stories like these. And obviously, we like sharing them. So if you have any of those stories to share, definitely share them with us. We'd love to hear it, and spread the word about it for sure. And as far as our surprise, well, not really surprise, but our live box break went, did you enjoy listening to our box break? This is something we didn't really normally do as far as our podcast. We're still fairly new at it. We only have 7 episodes in the can before this one. So did you enjoy the live portion of that box break for this podcast? Is that something that you guys would like to see continue or not? And we're just going to post these questions as usual on social media. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we definitely want to hear, what you guys have to think about the box break. Obviously, that wouldn't necessarily be a super common occurrence just because, I mean, I bought this box out of pocket, so obviously I can't really afford to just keep buying box after box just for the podcast. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely enjoyable for me, and I know Aaron was really excited about it too. So I think just on our end, it was fun. But if you guys think that listening to us open stuff is a worthwhile use of time on the show, let us know, and we'll see what we can do moving forward. It might not be full boxes all the time. It might just be a pack here and there. But yeah, we'll see what we can do if that's something that you guys enjoy. So yeah, that's really going to wrap it up for episode 8. We wanted to keep it pretty simple tonight and just focus on what needed to be talked about and keep it at that, but also have it be relevant and enjoyable. So please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Center Ice Cardcast, and on Twitter at Center Ice CC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Center Ice Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.